This is a very complex story that spans at least 6 years, so bear with me here. Let's start in 2015, when an investigation by the World Anti-Doping Agency, or WADA, discovered rampant doping activity in Russia and accused the Russian government of facilitating it. As a result, some individual sporting federations banned Russian athletes from competing in the 2016 Summer Olympics. Previous gold medal winners, Alexander Dyachenko and Yelena Isinbayeva, were shut out that year. Now, even more damning evidence came to light several months later, suggesting doping took place in dozens more sports, and officials at the highest levels of the Russian government were complicit in the scheme. In 2018, all of Russia's athletes were forced to compete under a neutral flag at the Winter Games in Pyeongchang. This scandal was so massive, there was even an Oscar-winning documentary about it.
I was helping to facilitate one of the most elaborate doping ploys in sport history.
Nick Harris is one of the British journalists who originally broke the story.
Let's go back to 2013, where myself and a colleague at the Mail on Sunday in London had been running an investigation based on a tip-off that there was a massive state-sponsored doping program unfolding in Russia. We'd had tip-offs from inside Russia that this was happening, and that basically dozens of sports were affected. Hundreds, possibly thousands of athletes across the whole of Russian sport were being provided with performance-enhancing drugs to cheat their way to success, and then having their doping tests covered up by the WADA-accredited laboratory in Moscow.
Because of the scandal, Russia's anti-doping lab, RUSADA, was declared non-compliant and banned from testing athletes. In order to be reinstated, the lab was ordered to turn over evidence and essentially come clean about the whole cover-up. The World Anti-Doping Agency finally received the data earlier this year, and it wasn't what they were expecting.
When this evidence from the Moscow lab was handed over, it had been itself falsified to show that apparently there weren't all these drug test failures. The full scale of the doping and cover-up scheme isn't known, and possibly never will be known.
So even after multiple sports governing bodies agreed that Russia cheated, the World Anti-Doping Agency says Russia still provided falsified evidence.
I completely expected the Russians to continue cheating, lying, and trying to subvert justice.
What has Russia's stance been on this, and how has it evolved, if at all?
The position for years was blanket denial. Even as recently as this month, the current head of the Russian anti-doping agency, Yuri Ganin, basically admitted that the data had been falsified and thousands of tests had been covered up. We think that they're trying to set up this message that something did go wrong, but it was the work of corrupt people without the knowledge of the Russian government.
All of this begs the question, have these sports governing bodies really done enough to hold Russia accountable?
People are scared of Russia and Vladimir Putin. They don't want the hassle of having to deal with cleaning up their sports. That, in a nutshell, is it.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.